absolutely rubbish. Fantastic. It's nearly the end of 2023. I have started this channel around August this year, and I have read somewhere around 50 books, and I have encountered some absolutely phenomenal books, some new favorites, but I have also read some absolutely terrible books. So this video is all about the 5 amazing books that I read during this year, but also 4 terrible ones as well. Okay, so let's get rid of the bad books first. I got 4 of them. I understand that some of these books might be controversial because at least 2 of them got fantastic reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. So your mileage might very well be different to mine. It's completely subjective. Okay, so without further ado, let's dig into the 4th worst book that I have read during this year, and that is Sally Rooney's Normal People. I have done a full-length review. If you haven't already, I'll put a link up here. So the book is about 2 young people who came from a very different background, economically speaking. They both end up in the same prestigious college in Ireland, Trinity College. So the story is all about these 2 young people, how they grow up, how they interact, how they sort of interact with each other. They are boyfriend and girlfriend on and off all the time. The reason that I didn't really like this book is because I find the characters unlikable and unlovable. I just don't have a connection with them. I think they are both very strange and selfish. I'm unable to establish a link between my emotion and those 2 characters. But as I said in the beginning, your mileage might very well be different because many people actually swear by this book. So check out the review, the full-length review, and if you still want to read it, then give it a try. There's no fault to Sally Rooney as a writer because I think she can really write. I just find the characters a bit annoying for my taste. That is why that it is the 4th worst book, not the number 1. Anyway, the 3rd worst book that I have read this year is Out. This is a Japanese novel. I borrowed it from my local library because many people are really telling me that how great this novel is. It really sort of showcased a Japanese society that's really under pressure by the economic situation and reflects Japanese society as very rigid. So the story is about 4 women, of Japanese women. They work in the overnight factories packing ready to eat lunches. One of the husbands is very abusive, and one day one of these women just had enough and she murdered her husband. Those 4 co-workers are very good friends, and she enlisted the other 3's help to get rid of the body. But the story gets complicated because one of the gambler find out their crime and threaten to expose them, and that somehow gets a Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, involved as well. So the whole thing is threatening to go completely discovered, but not just discovered by the police. The Japanese mafia wanted to murder this woman for some reason. You gotta read it to find out. So this book is actually, I DNF'd this book, I did not finish. I think it's a shame because I really like the storyline. I think the plot line is absolutely amazing. The reason that I DNF'd it is because I found the writing absolutely terrible. The descriptions of each individual, the 4 women, their conversation is very wooden. There's no life to their conversation. It's like when you read it, you can't imagine this conversation would taking place in real life because it's very wooden, very 2D, 2-dimensional. There's no interactions that's based on realism. So I find that particular hard to swallow. And the writing style, again, is very 2-dimensional. It's very sort of rigid structure. So I did not like it at all, which is a shame. As I said, I really do like the plot line, and I wish I could have finished it, but I just can't. Number 2, that is the Glutton. I bought this book partly because of the cover. As you can see, it's absolutely an amazing cover, and I like the story sort of plot line behind it. It's about this man who eats everything, including a baby, including a fork, including some really weird stuff that he basically eats everything, food and otherwise. Apparently it's based on a real story of a French peasant. Same problem, I really want to like this book because I love the cover. Don't judge a book by the cover, but you can't help but to, right? It's an amazing cover and the story is phenomenal. At least it has the potential to be phenomenal. My problem with this book is very similar to the previous one, is the writing style. Again, very two-dimensional. But what's even worse is the fact that the conversation, there are just so many obscene expletives which are completely gratuitous. There's one scene where this particular man ended up in a hospital. The hospital at the time was really just sort of church. And he was speaking to this nun and he was telling her about his life story, and all of a sudden the nun's, right, a religious woman, she started thinking what it would be like to jump on top of this guy and, you know, the F word him. Why? Where is that coming from? And the things like that, just almost every single page you got this obscene sort of comments which are completely inappropriate coming from the people. Like, you got a religious person and you got someone who's a peasant, and the peasant reminds me, so the main character is this peasant who eats everything, right? He reminds me of Lady Chatterley's lover because he's arrogant, and some of the language that he uses is very similar to Lady Chatterley's lover. And again, these expletives just inundated the pages, which are completely gratuitous, unnecessary. And I can't, because it's not realistic, right? When you write a book, it has to be realistic. You can have aliens, you can have zombies, but at least they have to behave the way a zombie behaves, or aliens behave in the way that alien behaves. Now, why is this religious person not behaving the way she's supposed to? Why is this present isn't? Very, very weird. And some of the vocabulary used just blow my mind, because why use difficult words when you can use more appropriate words? Many of these words that have to use Google to actually find out what they mean, and they're completely unnecessary. This book is entirely unnecessary, to be honest. I was quite annoyed. As I said, it reminds me of Lady Chatterley's Lover, which is one of the books I absolutely despise. I hate that book, and I hate this book too. And I just chuck it in the bin because, right, look, the story is based in 1600s, right, in France. Why are they speaking as if they are using the language today? That's my number one problem. Number two problem is so many expletives. I hated that. Completely unnecessary. If you're gonna use swear words, use it when it's absolutely necessary, right? To have an impact. The third problem is actually using two different calendar systems. One is pre-revolution, the other one is post-revolution, French Revolution, and it just confused the heck out of me. So I actually checked that book into the bin because I hate it that much. I think the writer is, I don't know, man. She's a woman writer and is keep having obscene comments and innuendos. I don't get it. Anyway, so the last and the worst book of the year is this one here. I have done a full review of this one. Check it out here. So very quickly, this book is about a man-eating alligator based in somewhere in Florida in National Park. Problem with this book is over 300 pages. I encountered as a reader of the alligator in the first couple pages, and then I encountered the alligator in the last 10 pages. In the vast majority of middle of the book, 300 odd pages, I did not see the alligator even once. The problem with the characters, they are acting very stupidly. They are worse than even two-dimensional. They are just characters. They're not even two-dimensional, to be honest. Shelley Katz, she can't write. She can't not write to save her life. Don't read this book. It's absolutely terrible. As I said in the actual full review, that if this book hasn't been cost me around about $100, I would have checked it into the bin. But unfortunately, it cost me $100 and it's a great cover. I decided to keep it. That's the only reason. Okay, guys, now let's move on to the more positive stuff. I've read, as I said, around 50 books in this year, and I have encountered some amazing novels and non-fictions as well. So here are the 5 best books I have read this year. At 5th place is The Plight of the Living Dead. This is a non-fiction novel about zombification in the animal kingdom, especially inside the insect kingdom. It's about what real life zombie looks like, and the author has discovered, a biologist by the way, has discovered so many instances in the natural world, in the insect kingdom, where one insect attacked the other and turned the other one into a zombie so that the attacked party can do its bidding. There are so many interesting and often brutal glory descriptions in the book, which I absolutely love. And the fact that these are non-fiction, these are real story, these are facts, science, just made it even more cruel and terrifying. So in the first instance, the writer described a wasp controlling a cockroach, not just injecting her eggs into the body of the cockroach, but actually leading the cockroach like a remote controlled toy to do the wasp's bidding. Whilst it's young, it's eating the cockroach from inside out. It's absolutely disgusting and is fascinating. It's just simply amazing. There are so many instances described in this book, and I absolutely love that. So if you are interested in the natural world, and especially insect world, and how one turns the other into real life zombie, then please give this a try. I love this book. And number 4th place is Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. So this is a reimagination of life of Medusa, the Greek myth. I read it and I absolutely enjoyed it because I always has this curiosity about Medusa, and it turns out she was actually not the monster that people actually imagined she was. She was a victim by the most superior gods that's populating the Greek mythology. Very, very interesting read. You not only know about Medusa, but also about her sister, the Gorgon sisters, how they try to protect her, but without a veil. And it really shows you the true characters of the hero, Perseus. He's not a nice guy. So very interesting book. So if you are interested in Greek mythology, Medusa in particular, please give it a try. 3rd place is The Woman in White Kimono. Again, I've done a full length review. I'll put the link here. Very, very interesting book. It's about a love story between an American soldier and a Japanese woman. And the story happens right after the Second World War, during the American occupation of Japan. So the cultural sort of clash, the cultural conflict is ever present. It also showcases the rigid structure of Japanese society very, very well. And it's about love found and love lost, and how over the decades the love sort of refined itself in a way, not the perfect way, but at least in a way. Very, very moving story, full of hearts and warmth and heartbreaks. I loved it. I read it actually in Japan. I did a full review in Japan, so have a look at that. That was based in Kyoto. Very, very nice. But yeah, I truly love the story. So if you are interested in Japanese society, especially after the Second World War, really give it a try. It really tells you a little bit more about the Japanese culture as a whole. What's really making it quite impressive is the fact that the writer is an American, so she isn't Japanese. So she must have done tons and tons of reviews to actually write so vividly over Japanese culture. The only criticism I have about this particular book, which I've said in my full-length review, is that it doesn't really give me a sense of place. That's the only thing. I wish there's more descriptions of the actual surroundings. The culture part was done really, really well. The physical description, I think, is a little bit wanting, but other than that, a fantastic book. Okay, so at 2nd place, and I believe many of you guys would like to hear because you're here because of James O'Brien, is How They Break Britain by James O'Brien. I've done a full-length review, so check it out here. It's pretty much a distillation of O'Brien's wisdom concentrated into this book format. When you're actually reading the book, you find many, many similarities. It's almost like you are listening to him. You can picture his voice in your head when you're reading the sentences. It's quite different to his previous 2. This one is far more serious, I believe, and it's more densely packed. Each character is headed by an individual who Mr. O'Brien believes has broken this country, and each chapter listed the crimes of those individuals, and it's very observant, very detailed descriptions of what they have done, and stuff like that. I absolutely enjoyed it. I have always enjoyed listening to James O'Brien, and reading this book just gave me a more concentrated section of what James always saying in the morning in his monologue, his famous monologues, which we all enjoy very, very much. I love this book. I think it's fantastic. If you haven't read it, I really do think you should just give it a read, and just have a better idea of how this country ended up the place where it is currently in. So at number 1, it is The Lonesome Dove. This also happens to be the largest book I have read this year, just under 1,000 pages. It's absolutely epic story. The story centers on 2 Texas Rangers and their adventure from Mexican border all the way to Montana on the Canadian border. So this is about, at least 2/3 of the book is about the journey from Texas to the Canadian border. Absolutely phenomenal book. It's so brutal, so realistic. The element of the frontier of America has been described so vividly. When you're reading the book, you felt as if you are there with them, and there are so many sad things going on. Again, it's a bit like George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones. There's no character too big to fall, right? And it feels the same here. There are many people who are brutally murdered and killed by accident, by nature, by Indians. Incredible book. I absolutely loved it. It's, in fact, my top 5 of all-time favorite book. It's just incredible. I loved it. If you are interested in the American frontier, if you are interested in a fantastically written novel, if you want to lose yourself in a huge epic of a novel, well over 900 pages, then please give this book a try. It's cozy, it's brutal, it's fantastic for winter season. Grab yourself a cup of tea and just start reading. It is phenomenal. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I just want to use this opportunity to wish all of you a very happy new year, happy 2024. As I said, this is a relatively new channel. I only started in August. So please give it a thumb up, put your comments in the section down below. Let me know what books you are reading, what books you have read this year that you find absolutely amazing or absolutely horrible. Please let me know in the comment section. And I thank you so much for watching this video, and Happy New Year. Cheerio, guys.